Good morning, everybody.
You've received a lot of criticism when you showed your emotion with your parents.
Yeah, some opinion of a sheep, lying somewhere about that.
So the draft combine is officially underway, and Caleb Williams has definitely made quite an impression during this draft combine. Now, I wanted to give you guys a heads up. This isn't necessarily a look at Caleb Williams and what he does on the football field. Rather, it's more his behavior recently that is definitely causing some people to raise an eyebrow. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? For those of you guys that don't know, Caleb Williams is the greatest NFL prospect since Patrick Mahomes. And no, I'm not making that up. Look at this.
I watch him play. He's the only quarterback, pro or collegiate, that the way he plays reminds me of Patrick.
We're not done.
What's happened with Caleb Williams? They are labeling him the next Patrick Mahomes.
And this clip.
With Mahomes, feels really accurate now, and he's got a good head on his shoulders.
And this clip.
Everybody watches Patrick and sees all the cool things he can do. And, I always said, even in high school, that I don't think there's anything, obviously it's special, but I don't think there's anything that I can't do that he's doing out there.
The way they've been hyping up, he is literally the next coming of Patrick Mahomes. Do I believe in that? Well, not even Patrick Mahomes looked like Patrick Mahomes coming out of Texas Tech, so I think it's really impossible to look at a prospect and say he's the next coming of anything. But what I will say is it seems like once every 3 to 5 years, it seems like we have the next big prospect coming in, and that's what makes the NFL draft exciting. Whether or not they fulfill that potential is going to be based on a myriad of factors. 1, the player's work ethic. 2, the environment that the player goes to, especially if they happen to be a quarterback. I'm a firm believer that Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be Patrick Mahomes if he wasn't drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid. With that being said, there are some things that we could already decide in regards to Caleb Williams. For example, what is his mental makeup like? Is he a humble person? Is he a hard worker? Is he resilient? And whether or not those will translate to success on a football field. The top criticism that people have of Caleb Williams is there's a lot of drama surrounding him just for being a potential #1 overall pick in this year's NFL draft. But how could there not be? There's never been a prospect like Caleb Williams before, in the sense that there's never been a prospect walking into the NFL after making $10 million during his collegiate football career while he was the starting quarterback from one of Los Angeles' colleges. Jokes aside, there's a reason why this kid is cocky. Look at the car he drives. Look at the amount of money he's made. When Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma, he brought Caleb Williams with him, and immediately he won a Heisman. And throughout all of this, Caleb Williams has been hyped up as the #1 overall pick in this year's NFL draft. And I guess some people could handle the amount of hype and publicity better than others. But whenever it gets to this point, there's obviously going to be a concern. Because in years past, the greatest football players don't usually let that get to their head. Whereas in September, you had Caleb Williams saying that he reportedly didn't want to play for specific teams. His dad said that the system is broken. You go to the wrong possible situation, the worst possible team, the worst organization in the league because of their desire for parity. So it's a gift and a curse, but it would get way, way worse. 1 month later, Caleb Williams' father was trying to get ownership stake in an NFL team. This is something that Tom Brady was trying to do in the latter part of his career while he was still playing well, and when everybody understood that he was the GOAT of the NFL, and not even he was able to achieve this. Aaron Rodgers tried doing the same thing from the New York Jets, but the NFL barred it from happening. Honestly, I would be open to the idea because you may see players prolong their careers once they get ownership stake, but this was just the beginning of the drama that surrounded Caleb Williams. People will call him out for painting his fingernails, crying after games. I mean, one of the questions that were asked during the NFL Combine was the fact that he had emotional responses, and this is how that exchange went down.
You've received a lot of criticism when you showed your emotion with your parents.
Yeah.
What would you say to the people that were taking shots at that and how that made you feel, that hearing that criticism?
Yeah, there's not many people in the world that get to experience what I experience every
every game day, every practice day. So it kind of goes back to, it always kind of goes back to that for me. It's something that I only get to experience. It's something that I really care about, which is not only winning the game, but doing it with my teammates. And so every time we lose, I feel like I let my teammates down.
But before the combine, Caleb Williams said that he wasn't going to throw at the combine. This isn't a big deal. You see prospects do this all the time. And I don't think the issue is the fact that Caleb Williams is refusing to throw at the combine. It's more the way that he's trying to go about his business. To give you an idea, if the ownership stake attempt was perceived as pathetic or perceived as annoying, Caleb Williams' dad didn't give up on this. According to Kaylin Collar of The Athletic, she first reported that previous rumors about Williams' camp discussing the unheard of ask were accurate. Despite Caleb Williams expressing confusion over the assertion, NFL rules prohibit teams from offering current players ownership stakes as part of their contracts, so the plan did not have the opportunity to get off the ground. And this goes way deeper than you think. Earlier this month, Caleb Williams' team wouldn't confirm that the quarterback would attend the combine. Last week, Caleb Williams' team discussed his media strategy at the combine. Would he do the standard news conference like the rest of the prospects? Would he sit for TV network interviews only? Ultimately, they opted for the regular news conference, and on Monday, Ian Rappaport reported that Caleb would come to Indianapolis but wouldn't throw for teams. This gets way worse, but this next part is even crazier. The decision to not hire an agent was equally calculated. Carl Williams challenged several potential representatives to find loopholes in the collective bargaining agreement between the league and players' union, but the answers he received were unsatisfying. None could show him a way out of the 4-year rookie contract term and 5th-year option for first-round picks. And when you consider the 3 potential years of franchise tagging, Caleb Williams could be tied to a below-market deal for 8 years. Why hire an agent when there's nothing that can be done to subvert the system? Carl was wary, and some agents were equally wary of him, thinking most of his ideas were unrealistic and some foolish. And look, man, I am all for trying to be entrepreneurial. I am all trying to blaze your own trail. I mean, we wouldn't have Jordan 1s if it wasn't for what Michael Jordan did in the middle of the 80s when it was unheard of to wear any other sneaker other than the ones that the NBA approved. But at a specific point, man, when you keep ruffling feathers, it's going to become a bit of a red flag. And who knows, maybe Caleb Williams is good enough to be able to pull this off. But at the same time, when you just take all of these incidents in a nutshell and you combine it with clips like this,
I mean, everybody wants to be in these 12.5 shoes right here. So some opinion of a sheep, lying somewhere about that. So, keep moving on, keep fighting. Fight on.
In addition to declining medical exams, which is something that is unheard of for prospects that are at the combine, and at this point, I think it's safe to say that you could make an argument that maybe his ego could get the best of him, and maybe his ego could affect his NFL career. Or maybe it's this ego that makes him one of the greatest football players of all time. You really could go either way, because according to Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports, Caleb Williams is the first ever combine attendee to decline medical exams. He did not sign off on having his medical records shared with all 32 teams. When Caleb Williams was asked why he would do this, this is what he said.
And obviously, when you start doing things that's not traditional, whether you're at a school like USC,
and I support you 100%.
Yeah,
Trust me.
Whether you're here at the combine that's been going on for I don't know how many years, but a long time.
Right.
And so, I'd say the main thing has just been, it was a decision with my family and my team, and it really came down to not all 32 teams can draft me, so I give all 32 teams.
Yeah.
My personal medical things, there's nothing there. Played all 30, how many ever games I played.
I don't even remember you being banged up like the slightest.
I've never came off the field unless my helmet came off and the ref took me off.
Right.
And so, my thing has just been, give it to the teams that are going to pursue me. So on my visits, I'll be doing medicals, but just decided not to do it here. In a sense, I have an idea of where I'm going to go, not the place, but the Not
the
the place,
general area of the
general
draft.
area
We know
of
the
draft.
spot.
You're going
We
in
know
the
the
top
spot.
2 picks. You're going number 1, bro.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
to let you know, you're going 1.
I understand that prospects in the past found the medical process to be very tedious and very redundant for having to take the same exact exam over and over and over and over again. But whenever you're not willing to do things like this, it conveys a message to potential teams that would even consider trading up to draft you. It means that it's your way or the highway, and you're gonna be a whiny little about the smallest little things. And I think the fact that he knows he's gonna go number 1 overall has really gotten to his head, to the point where he's being annoying about very small things. In an effort to undo the damage that his dad did in September, Caleb Williams was asked by Tom Pelissaro where he wants to go, and he would say this.
Where do you want to be?
Whoever picks first. It's been a dream of mine to go first, and so whoever picks first, can't wait.
He would then give his thoughts on the Chicago Bears.
The Bears was an 8-9 team last year, I believe, and 7-10. Sorry, and that's pretty good for a team that has the first pick. And they got a good defense. They got good players on offense, and it's pretty exciting, if you could go into a situation like that.
Then, thoughts on his hometown Washington Commanders.
It's like I've said before, it's familiar. It's hometown, as everybody knows, and it'd be really cool to be back there and experience that. The meeting went really well, being around those, everybody was in the room, so being around everybody, just getting the taste of, how they are, who they are, because like you said, everything's new there.
And at the end of the day, he said that he wants to go wherever picks first. I'll be honest with you, I don't know the significance of all this. I'm seeing a little bit of Ryan Leaf in this type of personality, and I could be wrong. At the end of the day, it could be this cockiness and this level of drama that drives Caleb Williams to be one of the greatest prospects of all time. But there's so many parallels to previous prospects that have been a huge headache that should cause some teams to be wary. At the end of the day, when you look at Caleb Williams' tape, even though it's against the Pac-12, the throws that he can make and the things that he could do on a football field are incredible, and there's a reason why he's called Next Coming of Patrick Mahomes. His improvisational ability is incredible. The angles that he makes his throws at the accuracy that he's able to make them are amazing. But again, I think I've seen enough evidence in regards to his personality behind the scenes where I could dub his personality as a red flag. Now, at the end of the day, do I think this could potentially scare a team from drafting him number 1 overall? No, not at all. But I do think it makes the Chicago Bears decision at the number 1 overall pick that much more compelling. So let me know in the comment section down below, man, based upon everything I've shown you in regards to Caleb Williams, do you think he should be selected number 1 overall by the Chicago Bears, or do you think the Washington Commanders should trade up to number 1 overall to get him? Bear in mind, I'm not saying that he's going to be terrible, but I am saying that his personality is starting to strike me as a bit of a red flag. But at the end of the day, he could be one of the greatest NFL players of all time. Only time will tell. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.